wall texturing expanded. And this was actually developed by Xikrili, and he taught it to me, and I tried to get it out the other day, and for some reason I wasn't able to make a water putty voxel. So today I'm going to go over that and show you how to do it. So the first thing we want to do is come out here to the water like this, out in the middle of nowhere here by my little water claim, and I'm going to hit escape. I'm going to hit evac to safety. Now this is going to drop me down underneath the top level of the water here, and I'm going to walk up into the bottom of my claim. You can already see I already made one water voxel, but to do this, take your selection tool and grab this and pull it out so you have an area that's fairly decent sized here. And I'm going to take my heal tool and I'm going to hit it to make sure that this area is actually server made 0 voxels. The next thing I want is to grab an area. It doesn't have to be big. Just pull this out into that healed area that we just basically made sure that it was what we wanted. So here we go. We gotta have our selected area. I'm going to take my paint tool here and I'm going to paint that area. Paint it. Do not add. Make sure you're using your paint tool. And what this is going to do is it just painted voxels. It did not actually create voxels. So this whole entire cube face that we have here is literally still technically 0 voxels. It's just a painted putty voxel. So we'll come over to this side here, and I'm going to go with my delete tool. Go over here and go to my shapes menu, and for this one I'm going to grab this full slope. I'm going to, you can actually see the shape I have here, and I'm going to basically push this down into that that putty voxel. Hit my tilde key here so I can get it up to where I want. And I'm going to click. Just chopping out a huge chunk out of it so that I have like this little sharp little edge. And basically this is going to be the basis for that pulling effect that I'm going to get when I go to put it up against a wall. The next thing we'll grab your selection tool. Just grab one of those protruded areas, do a control copy. And now we're going to go up into the very top of my little claim here, which I haven't really done much on. It's just a little side project. And I've made these boards, and most of them I've already done the effect on. And basically I'll show you the differences between them once I get over here. But I put me up a little orb over here so I can actually see, you know, the changes on my board. I'm going to hit escape so I don't have any selected tools. I'm going to do a control V to paste. Now if you notice I have these errors up here, but look at there. There's no voxel. There's nothing. I have nothing in my hand here that I can visually see. I'm going to take this and I'm going to click on my wall. And you see it's up a little high there, so I'm going to have to adjust. And I'm going to click around a few times. And you can see it's actually bringing up that wall face and actually giving it a random little texture as I click around. Now, I'm going to hit my escape key here and I'm going to show you what it has done. Take my selection tool and I'm going to grab that corner and pull it across. You can see it has literally pulled that face forward and actually given it a actual rocky formation type texture, and it's something that you can kind of play around with. different textures, different walls, you know, just seeing what you can make with it. But this actually gives a more realistic type of a texture onto a wall, especially if you're using, you know, odd type materials. And you can see the difference in between one that's not been touched here and then one that has been touched here with this type of an effect. I'll go over here to this ruby that I put up here, and this one here's not been touched, but that one there has. So we have this raised surface all the way across the board. You know, I've kind of just randomly just kind of clicked all over the place on this. Now I've done the same thing over here, and different types of effects, you know, depending on, you know, where I click, the type of tool that I use to cut the chunk out of the putty voxel. And you can get some different shapings and different types of movements and stuff like that. And this one, I've got like a little angle to it. This one over here was a little more of a blob. And as you can tell, the one next to it here has not been touched. There's nothing protruding on it. I come to the next one over here, and you can see there's some, you know, protrusions out on it. The one that I used for this one was just a little bit more subtle. It was it wasn't quite as big in the actual selection process off of the putty voxel. Now, the one thing that I have noticed with this type of a technique is initially sometimes you might not see it when you're clicking on it. If you hit your tilde key and just roll your mouse one click or one little slight movement of what would be one rotation, a lot of times you can get it into the exact location on the rotation that you need it to be able to get that raise coming off of it. So it takes a little bit of patience to get that rotation exactly where you need it sometimes, but the overall effect is usually pretty predominant. I mean, you can look at this stone wall face here. I've got it like a, you know, quite a bit sticking out and pushed in, and it gives a really cool little texture to it. It's not quite as noticeable on certain materials such as this one, but it is there. So if we kind of turn it to the side here, you can actually see the difference in between this flat surface and this rough surface here. So that is wall texturing expanded, and that is something that was kind of played around with by Xikrili. And so if you see him, throw him a thanks, and that'll end this tutorial. Thanks.